Hello everyone, this is Johnny Talk. Today, we'll be talking about the pride of the Chinese community, the moving Great Wall, Yao Ming. Remember to subscribe me first. Let's go.
Take a look through the peephole, yo, everybody's getting geek, bro. Stop the hate and let them leaks know that we turn the club into a freak show. Turn the club to a freak show.
NBA is the highest level in the battlefield of basketball. It is a very difficult task for an Asian to be a part of this. After all, for Asians, they are weaker in some innate conditions, such as physical condition and explosive force. And that's one of the reasons why it's difficult for Asian players to be in NBA. In the past, except from Jeremy Lin, the Linsanity, Yao Ming is definitely the pride of the Chinese community. So today, let's get to know about this great player. Yao Ming is 7 feet 6 tall, weight 310 pounds. With the first pick in the 2002 NBA draft, Houston Rockets selected him. He's not only the first Asian to be the NBA's first overall pick, and also is the first NBA player who had never played in an American high school or college. So, to simply put, unless you paid extra attention to otherwise American fans are not really familiar with him, there's an interesting thing happened during Yao Ming's first year. He started his career from the bench, and he only had 2 rebounds in his first game. There was not a single score. At that time, the famous commentator Kenny Smith made a bet with Charles Barkley, who is a player in the Hall of Fame, on a TV show. Kenny Smith said he believed Yao Ming could score 19 points in one game. But Charles Barkley didn't really take it seriously. He said, "If it happens, I'll kiss Kenny Smith's ass." After he changed it to Donkey's ass, Yao Ming didn't put Charles Barkley in a long wait. On the 7th of November in 2002, it's the 8th game in his career, Houston Rockets faced Los Angeles Lakers. In this game, the center of the Lakers, Shaquille O'Neal, didn't play, and Yao Ming, who started his game from the bench, scored 20 points. And that made Charles Barkley have to do what he promised on the show. It left a classic picture to all of us. This thing made all those people who doubted his ability to shut their mouths. And after this, Yao Ming slowly get used to the rhythm of NBA. The team also let him to be a starter in his 11th game. Off the topic, Charles Barkley really did what he promised. I think he's one true man. The NBA All-Star Game in Yao Ming's first season, which is the All-Star Game of 2003. He got the most votes in the Western Conference as a center, which made him to be a starter in the Western Conference. At that time, the Lakers were looking forward to get their 4th champion. And the star player in the Lakers, Shaquille O'Neal, didn't get as many votes as Yao Ming, which means that he didn't get to be a starter. Shaquille O'Neal had an opposite opinion on this thing. But what I wanna say is that, the All-Star Game is focusing on the fans' wills, and we all know that when Yao Ming got into the league, basically all of the Chinese people were so proud of him. During Yao Ming's first season, the duo of backcourt in Houston Rockets are the point guard, Steve Francis, and the shooting guard, Coutinho Mobley. These 2 players were the main source of scoring. In Yao Ming's first season, he had the average of 13.5 points and 8.2 rebounds per game. In the end of the season, he even got selected into the first NBA All-Rookie team. But unfortunately, he wasn't the Rookie of the Year. It was Amar Single-Cote Stoudemire from Phoenix Suns who got this. His second season of his career is the season of 2003 to 2004. This is one very important period for him. First, the coach of the Rockets was replaced by Jeff Van Gundy, and Yao Ming became the one who had the highest points per game in the team. He could get an average of 17.5 points per game. Second, for the All-Star Game during the season, Yao Ming once again got most votes as a center in the Western Conference. He defeated Shaquille O'Neal once again, and was one of the starters. Third, on the game on the 22nd of April in 2004 when Houston Rockets faced the Atlanta Hawks, Yao Ming scored the best record of his career, 41 points. Fourth, in this season, Houston Rockets got into the playoffs with a record of 45 wins/37 loss. This is of course the first playoffs for Yao Ming. In the end, the Rockets lost to the Lakers with a record of 1-4 in the first round. Even though they lost in the first round of the playoffs, Yao Ming still got selected into the All-NBA team. During this period of time, his popularity and strength has been proved by himself. And this was only his second season. During the season of 2004 to 2005, Houston Rockets made some modifications about the team. Tracy McGrady, who got the scoring title for twice, joined the team. And also, Dikembe Mutombo, who got NBA's Defensive Player of the Year award, Poi for short, for 4 times, also joined the team. All the fans were so looking forward to the duo of Tracy McGrady and Yao Ming. Once again, Yao Ming was the starter in the All-Star game during the season. He even was the vote leader in the league. So during this period of time, he was no doubt the pride of the whole Chinese community. Houston Rockets got into the playoffs with a record of 51 wins/31 losses in this season. But they lost to Dallas Mavericks with a record of 3-4 in the first round. One thing we need to take a look is that, in the 7th game of the series, Houston Rockets got defeated by the score of 76-116. 40 points. This is the biggest points difference in the history of NBA. Finished the season with this, was such an embarrassment for both the team and the fans. In the season of 2005 to 2006, Tracy McGrady only played 47 games due to his injury, and Yao Ming only played 57 games during the whole season. So it was obvious that the team didn't get into the playoffs. In the season of 2006 to 2007, Yao Ming managed to score an average of 25 points per game, which is the highest record in his career. But he only played 48 games during the whole season. Houston Rockets still got into the playoffs, but they lost to Utah Jazz with a record of 3-4 in the first round. In the season of 2007 to 2008, Houston Rockets replaced the head coach by Rick Adelman. Yao Ming only played 55 games during the whole season. The team faced Utah Jazz once again in the first round, and once again, they lost to Utah Jazz with a record of 2-4. In the season of 2008 to 2009, Houston Rockets was great at defensive part. They then had NBA's Defensive Player of the Year, Metta World Peace in the team, and Yao Ming got to play 77 games. This was the season which Yao Ming got to play the most. But, another main source of scoring in the team, Tracy McGrady, only played 35 games during the whole season, and he didn't even play any of the game during the playoffs. In the playoffs, Houston Rockets defeated Portland Trail Blazers by the record of 2-4 in the first round. To put it into another way, Yao Ming finally got into the second round. This moment is the most far-reaching one in his career. Houston Rockets faced the Lakers in the second round, and lost to them with a record of 3-4. One thing we need to notice is that, in the first game of the series, Yao Ming's knee got hurt by Kobe Bryant during the fourth period. At that moment the medical team sent Yao Ming off the court, but when he arrived at the hall, he stopped, and decided to get back to the game. In the end, he helped Houston Rockets to get the first victory during the series. For all the fans, this game was very emotional and agitated. After all, during the playoffs, Tracy McGrady couldn't play. So I believed Yao Ming won fans' respect when they saw he decided to get back to the court to help the team getting the victory. But since the fourth game of the series, Yao Ming couldn't get in the court, so that led the team to the end of the series. Yao Ming couldn't even play during the whole season of 2009 to 2010, and Houston Rockets transferred Tracy McGrady to the Knicks during this time. Then Yao Ming only played 5 games in the beginning of the season of 2010 to 2011, after due to his injury, he couldn't be in the court. In the summer of 2011, Yao Ming announced his retirement, and he was only 30 years old. Let's take a look back at Yao Ming's career. There were only 9 seasons, including one that he didn't even play and another one which he only played 5 games during the whole season. So yes, he is another injured player. This thing just happened a lot in NBA, including his teammate, Tracy McGrady. Now, we are going to talk about what characteristic he had in the court. First of all, his free throw percentage is really good. His free throw percentage of 0.883 is way ahead of lots of great point guards. This is not an easy work. Second of all, in the offensive part, he was not only good at the low post, but also good at the jump shot. So, actually, it is a difficult work to defend him. He could be at the three-point line, let his teammates have enough space in the court. He could also went straight to the restricted area from the low post. He even had the art of fadeaway. So from this, we can how good he is at the offensive part. Third, even though his speed was not the best, but because of his height, 7'6", so he was really good at defending the rebound. He even has the career average per game of 1.9 blocks. Fourth of all, which is also the most important one, there's only been 4 seasons which Yao Ming had played more than 70 games. This was not an ideal data. To simply put, if it wasn't because of his injury, he could have gotten more glory in his career. In 2016, Yao Ming, Shaquille O'Neal and Allen Iverson got selected into the Hall of Fame. This, for Yao Ming, is the greatest glory of all. Some might wonder why he was able to be selected into the Hall of Fame, after he only played 9 seasons throughout his career. He had never gotten a MVP, he had never gotten the chance to be on the stage of the championship. But for me, I think he is very influential to all the Asian players and the Chinese community. In fact, when we talk about the influence of one player, we do not just talk about his performance in the court. Let's see an example here. When Stephen Curry reached 402 3-point shot, what he brought to the fans all over the world is that he showed the fans how unreasonable a 3-point shot can be. He reinterpreted the role of point guard. In the beginning, we talked about how people don't have faith on the Asian NBA players. Yao Ming had been selected into All-NBA team for 5 times. It means that he's recognized by people with his own strength. It's very impressive. The first Asian player ever who stepped on the stage of NBA is Wang Zhizi, but it is undeniable that Yao Ming is the most successful example of all time, and the other one is Jeremy Lin. Yao Ming has a career average per game of 19 points and 9.2 rebounds. He has already proven himself by this data. He has the power to stand on this stage. So for me, I think it is absolutely no problem for him to be a part of the Hall of Fame, because he's very influential to all the Chinese community. Now, let's take a look back at his career. The duo of him and Tracy McGrady made the fans both look forward and regret, because both of them got seriously injured during their late period of career. It's like once Tracy McGrady had recovered, Yao Ming got injured. Once Yao Ming came back to the court, Tracy McGrady couldn't play due to the injury. So even they were a duo, but they didn't really have the chance to show their strength together. That's a real pity. Due to this, Yao Ming had never gone far during the playoffs. In fact, during his career, he had played the 7th game in the playoffs for 3 times, but never won one. These 3, including the one when they faced the Lakers in the Western Conference in 2009, Tracy McGrady didn't show up in the court due to his injury, and Yao Ming only played the first 3 games in this series. Tracy McGrady once said, if Yao Ming and him were both in good condition in that season, Houston Rockets could have definitely gone farther in the playoffs. From this we can know that the biggest enemy for both Tracy McGrady and Yao Ming are their injuries. Will there be another Yao Ming in NBA in the future? To be honest, it's not that easy. We hope more and more young fans can get to know more about the pride of Chinese, the moving Great Wall, Yao Ming through this video.